On this story, we're joined by Mouin Rabbani, who is co-editor at Jadaliyya and a non-resident fellow at the Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies. Sir, thank you for your time. In your Connections podcast series, you talk about how statistics and stories get twisted. Let's talk nuclear threat framing, for example. How do governments actually manipulate something that massive? What should we be looking for?
Well, I think what's relevant here is that there is a nuclear power actively involved in this conflict. In fact, it's the party that launched this war, and that is Israel. And for some reason, in polite company, it's forbidden to point out that Israel has an arsenal of several hundred nuclear weapons. Iran, by contrast, has signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Israel has not. Iran accepts inspections from the International Atomic Energy Agency. There are no meaningful inspections in Israel. And in 2015, Iran accepted the most intensive and intrusive inspection and verification and monitoring regime ever devised during the nuclear age. So, and it's because of the U.S. repudiation of that agreement in 2018 during the first Trump administration that Iran has become a nuclear threshold state, meaning that it's a political decision rather than a significant technological breakthrough away from possessing a nuclear weapon if it so chooses. But if you listen to the media coverage, you would think that there is a nuclear power, Iran, that is attacking Israel, which is entirely defenseless and at the mercy of the Iranian nuclear arsenal. So it's really a complete inversion of reality that we're dealing here. You look at mainstream media coverage, how often do you see people actually stating as a fact that Israel is a nuclear power, and more importantly, putting forward the correct analysis that this is ultimately a war being waged by Israel to ensure and maintain its monopoly on the possession of nuclear weapons in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's a good point. You've earned yourself a reputation for calling out what no one's talking about. So when it comes to
I'm far from
Gaza,
the only one.
Well, when it comes to Gaza or this new Iran-Israel escalation, what to you is the one-start quote or storyline that's flying under the radar but really matters, you think?
Well, I don't think that Israel launched its war against Iran to divert attention away from its genocidal campaign in the Gaza Strip. It wasn't experiencing significant resistance or censure for that genocide. But I think what we need to look for is that if, as appears increasingly likely, the U.S. becomes directly involved in offensive military operations within Iran, and if this expands into a regional conflict, a conflict that sets the entire region aflame, there is then a very real possibility that Israel will exploit the intense global focus on putting out the fire in the region to fulfill its ambition to compel the mass expulsion of Palestinians, not only from the Gaza Strip, but also much or all of the West Bank, and potentially even Palestinian citizens of Israel as well. I'm not saying that's a certainty, but it is a very plausible scenario should we get to that stage.
All right, Mr. Mouin Rabbani, we appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.